Good morning, dear students. I hope you all must have enjoyed your summer vacation. I accept that this year was definitely a very challenging time for you all because you must have been enjoying thoroughly outdoors during your summer vacation. But this year you had to be at home. Nevertheless, it is very important to keep yourself safe, hale and hearty. So, welcome back to the online teaching learning course that we are going to continue and that the chapters and the poems that you had studied before your summer vacation, you must have revised them and you must have also completed the assignments. Now today I am going to take up the next poem, The Laburnum Top, written by Ted Hughes. Ted Hughes is a British poet. He served as a poet laureate of England. Poet laureate is an honor. It is an honorary position appointed or given to the poets given by the government so that they are expected to actually write poems for certain occasions and events. Ted Hughes happened to see a tree, the laburnum tree. The laburnum tree is in Hindi is called as amaltas, and this amaltas का जो पेड़ है, जो tree है, it's very beautiful because of its flowers. Even I think you also must have seen this tree, which shortly I'll be showing you in my video, and you will realize that you have already seen this tree. The laburnum tree is beautiful because it has hanging branches and the flowers grow in bunches, which make the tree very dense, and the color of the flowers is yellow. This tree, which was quiet and still in the month of September, had a transformation due to the arrival of a goldfinch bird. The goldfinch bird is known as goldfinch because firstly it belongs to the family of singing birds. Secondly, it also has a yellow color. This yellow color bird, when it arrives at the laburnum top or the tree, it brings about a big change. This was observed by the poet. Now, what was the change? Let us read in the poem and find out. Now, this poem was written by the poet in order to explain the interdependence of the components of nature and their impact on the human characteristics. The birds, the trees, the animals, the nature itself leaves an indelible impact on the human character. So the message of the poem is that everything in this world, every component of the nature or human beings, they all have some capabilities which are specifically a characteristic of theirs and which can be shared or which can be utilized to help each other. So it is a mutual give and take. In this poem also, when you will read, you will find out that the poet has talked about that the help that the tree gives to the bird and reciprocating behavior of the bird. What was it? So let's find out and read. The Laburnum Top, written by Ted Hughes. Now, dear students, you can see the pic of the laburnum tree. It has hanging branches and vibrant yellow color flowers in bunches. Now, next you can see the picture of goldfinch. This is a very small bird. It belongs to the family of songbirds. It has a very shrill voice, a short tail, and a short small bill. The Laburnum Top. The poem is in front of you. Now, it's a very short poem which depicts the interrelationship between the birds, the trees, and the nature with human beings. The effect of these components of nature on human beings. The laburnum top is silent, quiet, still in the afternoon yellow September sunlight. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Now, in these lines, the poet has described the laburnum tree, and he says the top of the laburnum tree is silent, quiet, and still in the afternoon yellow September sunlight. So it is the month of the September and it was autumn. Therefore, a few leaves yellowing, that is, a few leaves also were turning yellow in color, and the seeds had already fallen. Now, as I told you earlier, the laburnum tree is also called as the amaltas tree, which we in Hindi, which we can find in India also. Now, this tree has a quality that it has yellow color flowers which hang from the branches, and they grow in bunches. Therefore, they make the tree look very dense. Now, it was the afternoon time, and the poet seemed to be looking at this laburnum tree, which was so silent and still. There wasn't any movement. Now, in the next stanza, you can see what he observed further. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end, then sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt, she enters the thickness, and a machine starts up of chitterings and of tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. It is the engine of her family. She stokes it full and then flirts out to a branch end, showing her barred face identity mask. Now, in this stanza, you can see a very beautiful description of the bird goldfinch. In this stanza, the poet has described the goldfinch bird, which is compared to a lizard. Now, why it has been compared to a lizard, we will just pick up the words which describe the comparison, or the qualities which are common in both of them as felt by the poet. The poet feels that the bird is sleek as a lizard, very shiny, glossy, and alert, abrupt. And when she enters the tree, what happens? Now, from the lines you can understand what happens. The whole tree trembles and thrills. There are the sounds of chitterings and tremor of wings and trillings. So you now must have understood that the bird had a nest on that tree, and also there were some birdies in the nest. The birdies or the chicks or the baby birds were there, and as soon as the mother bird, the goldfinch, had entered the nest on the tree, the birds, the baby birds or the birdies, they started making the sound of the of twitterings, and the tremor of wings. Tremor means shaking, trembling of the wings. So they had small wings and they were fluttering their wings. Trillings also tell about the sound along with the movement. So the poet says that she enters the thickness. Who is she here? The goldfinch. The goldfinch enters the thickness of the tree. As just now I told you, that thickness is because of the dense flowers and leaves and branches on the tree. A machine starts up. Now, the poet has also compared the goldfinch to an engine. Now you can look at the line there. It is the engine of her family. So when she comes, all the birdies, they chitter, they are shaking their wings, and all these kinds of sounds and trillings that happen, all the chitterings and twitterings that happen, seems to be that it has it was like an engine, it was like a machine which was waiting for the engine to start. So the bird is compared to an engine, and as though the family was like a machine. And as soon as the engine comes or engine starts, just as the engine starts and the machine starts working and makes noise, similarly the bird, when as soon as it enters the tree, all the birdies or the chicks in the nest, they start making noise. Now, just a while ago, in the first stanza you had read that the laburnum top, the top of the tree where the nest was, it was absolutely silent and still. So now this is a contrasting picture there. You can see in the first stanza the tree is absolutely quiet and stillness is there. There is no movement, no sound at all. But in the second stanza you can see, at the arrival of the goldfinch to feed her birdies, there is so much of noise, the noise of the chitterings of the birds, and therefore the whole tree trembles and thrills. The whole tree seems to be trembling, and there is so much of lot of vibrant vibration and noise, the movement of wings. And in this way, the goldfinch is compared to an engine of her family. Now the comparison that she was like a lizard because of the three qualities. Please note the words sleek, alert, and abrupt. So the goldfinch, when it enters, it first of all sits at the end of the branch, and then slowly, like an alert person or like any other alert animal or bird, it takes care of its surroundings, that no other enemy bird is there which can harm the birdies or her chicks. Therefore she is alert and abrupt. Then suddenly she enters the nest to feed the chicks. Now just like an engine, she stokes it full. Stokes it full means just as the engine puts the machine into work completely, similarly her entrance also makes the chicks or the birdies twitter so much that there is so much of sound. Then flirts out to a branch end. Again it goes and sits on the branch end, showing her barred face identity mask. Now, please note, students, that this line is very important, showing a barred face identity mask. That when it is sitting at the branch end, the shadow of the branches or the leaves or the flowers falls on its face, and it seems as though her face is barred. Barred in the sense, bar you may remember that bars are actually the long, or you can say long rectangles like you must have seen the bars, and these bars seem to be of the flowers or the leaves, and the shadow of those, when they fall on her face, it seems as though she is wearing a mask. And that is the identity mask for the birdies to understand that this is not an enemy bird or a predator, but it is their own mother. So you can remember now, you know that we are also wearing mask. It covers our mouth and nose part. Similarly, this shadow of the leaves and the flowers were falling on the face of the bird, which seems as though she had a mask. Now, moving on to the last stanza, you can see, then with eerie, delicate whistle, chirrups, whisperings, she launches away towards the infinite and laburnum, and the laburnum subsides to empty. Now, in the third stanza and the first stanza are the same. Same because the condition of the tree is the same. Now, because the bird had entered, there was so much of noise, commotion, but as soon as the bird leaves, she launches away. Launches away means flies away high towards the infinite, and the laburnum subsides to empty. Again, the laburnum subsides means comes back to the same position, that is to its emptiness or stillness. Now look at the word eerie. Then with eerie, delicate whistle. Whistle, as I just now told you, the chirping of the adult birds is quite shrill. It is eerie, stands for strange. Eerie means strange. Delicate, very shrill and very sharp sound, just like a whistle. So she chirped that way. With that chirping and whispering, she launches away, she flies away, as though it was a signal for the birdies to understand that the mother is away. So in this way, although the poem is just about a tree and a bird, goldfinch, the poet has given the message that how each other, that they are interdependent, and how one gives support to the other. Now the bird was shelterless. The bird, you know that the birds make their nest on the trees, and therefore this tree gave shelter to the bird. On the other hand, the bird brought life to the tree, which was otherwise standing still, silent, death-like situation. So this is the explanation of the poem. Now you can see there are the meanings of the difficult words and phrases. Now you can see laburnum is a small tree with hanging branches of yellow flowers and poisonous seeds. Laburnum top, the top of the laburnum tree. Goldfinch, a small singing bird with yellow feathers on wings. Twitch, movement of a small body part. Chirrup, sound made by birds. Startlement, amazement, a sudden unexpected action which causes surprise. Sleek, smooth. abrupt, sudden or unexpected. Chittering, singing sound of a bird. Tremor, shiver, shaking or trembling. Trillings, singing repeatedly. Stokes, add fuel to the engine. Flirts, moves briskly. Eerie, strange. Infinite here means the sky. Launches, flies away. Subsides, returns. So the students, now I expect you all to learn the meanings so that you don't have any problem while writing the answers or explanation. Now let us discuss the figures of speech or the literary devices used by the poet. The laburnum top, the literary devices. As you have already studied in the previous poems, that the poetic devices, literary devices, or the figures of speech are used by the poets. Now, in this poem, the poet has used alliteration, which means repetition of a consonant sound at the beginning of two or more consecutive words. The instances of alliteration in the poems are as follows. The examples are given. September sunlight. Now in this you can see the two words beginning with S and therefore there is alliteration. And the second example is tree trembles. Now the third figure of speech used by the poet is metaphor. An indirect comparison between two things. Generally a quality is compared which is common in them. As I was explaining it to you, she enters the thickness and a machine starts up. The noise created by the movement of the birds is compared to the machine's noise. So this is the first comparison, and you can see the next comparison. It is the engine of her family. So the bird goldfinch is compared to the engine. Third example you can see showing her barred face identity mask. Her barred face, the shadow of the leaves and flowers seem to be are compared to a mask, identity mask. Now let us summarize the poem. The poem starts with a description of the laburnum tree whose top was still and silent. Its leaves had turned yellow and the seeds had fallen down. It was a daytime in the month of September when the tree was standing still and death-like. The lifeless tree becomes alive by the arrival of the goldfinch bird. She came to feed her younger ones who are on the thickness of the branch. The tree is her shelter. She arrives at the end of the branch with the chirping sound. She further moves to the other side of the branch with a rapid and precautionary movement, like a rapid and precautionary movement of a lizard. As soon as she arrives, her younger ones start chirping like a machine and vibrating and flapping their wings. The death-like tree becomes alive and it trembles and shakes. After feeding them, she flies to the other side of the branch. Her dark-colored face with the yellow body was barely visible as she vanished behind the yellow leaves. She flew away in the sky, leaving the tree death-like again. So that was a short summary of the poem. Now, students will remember the main points of the poem so that we can keep it on our tips. We are supposed to focus on the two things in the poem which are described by the poet. Now the first point is laburnum tree top. How is it? Calm and quiet. Second point, sudden arrival of goldfinch with a chirrup. Third, sleek, abrupt, alert like a lizard. So in the third point that you have to remember is that it is a description of the goldfinch and the comparison of the goldfinch with a lizard. Fourth point, enters the thickness of the tree. What does she do? She enters the thickness of the tree, and what happens is the next point. The fifth point, a machine of chittering starts up. So as soon as she enters the thickness of the tree, there is a nest. The machine and the nest seems to be like as though it's a machine of chitterings. The machine starts because of the birds. When it enters, the birdies, the chicks, they all start chittering. Next point, you can see the whole tree comes alive. There is excitement and thrill. So because of this goldfinch, the tree also seems to be alive and full of sounds, which was otherwise very quiet. Feeds her young ones. Why has she come to the tree? Because the goldfinch wanted to feed her young birdies. Next point, then comes out to a branch end and flies in the sky. Laburnum becomes calm and quiet again. So these are the few points that you are supposed to remember when you write the explanation. The moral of the poem is that the poet has said that life is a process of exchange and transformation. The goldfinch transforms the tree and makes it alive, without which the laburnum tree is just another tree, quiet and still. It awakens the tree and there is mutual relation between them. Yes, students, now you can see the yellow color has been used in the poem Laburnum Top. What is the significance of this yellow color in the poem? Obviously, the laburnum top, the laburnum tree bears yellow flowers, which beautifies the tree. The goldfinch also is very beautiful because it's a yellow colored North American bird. The usage of the word yellow repeatedly in the first stanza symbolizes death, which refers to the yellowing of leaves, and silence refers to the daytime, that is without rain or wind other than beauty. So the falling of the seeds from the tree during the month of September, which is the beginning of autumn. I hope you all must have understood the poem very well, and now I am going to give you an assignment which you shall complete in your copies. Thank you.